So here he is, guys. Didn't think we'd be getting him this soon, but Tamashii has delivered S.H Figuarts Dragon Ball Z Piccolo 2.0. S.H Figuarts Dragon Ball King Piccolo was released domestically in Japan on the 25th of October, payday. Just a little trivia there, that's the day when everyone gets paid here in Japan. Anyway, King Piccolo is a Bandai premium web exclusive, which means you'll have to pick him up online. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think web exclusives get a domestic US release. He retails for a bit more than 7,000 yen, so about $70 US before shipping, give or take. So out of all the Dragon Ball line figures we've gotten so far from Figuarts, and I mean Dragon Ball, not Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super, this has got to be my favorite so far. We'll have to wait for Tao Pei Pei and see how he is, but this is a fantastic release, and the figure, just like the rest of the Dragon Ball line, has a lot of character and it's a lot of fun. It's kind of hard to find things to fault about this figure. He's a huge figure, as you can see, compared to some of the other bigger figures from Figuarts. Here I have him compared with Majin Buu. Majin Buu stands just a little taller than Piccolo. Here he is with Ikari Broly. Broly and Piccolo are about the same height, but Broly is a tad shorter. As you can see, his head does sit a little bit lower than Piccolo's. And here he is next to Full Power Broly, and as you can see, he does stand a lot taller and is a lot bigger than King Piccolo. But in saying that, King Piccolo still does tower over most of the Dragon Ball line. And just in case you guys were wondering, here he is next to Figurize's Piccolo, and he does stand a lot taller than Figurize Piccolo, more than I expected. So it kind of makes me wonder if Figuarts did do a Piccolo 2.0, would they stick with this scale? Would they make him the same size as King Piccolo? Is that too big? Is his size too big for the other Figuarts? Would he scale with Goku and the rest of the gang, or would they make him a little bit closer to how they scaled Figurize? What do you guys think? But for me personally, I don't know, now seeing both of these figures side by side, I don't know, maybe something in between both Figurize and Figuarts King Piccolo. Figuarts King Piccolo does seem a little bit too big, and now having him next to Figurize Piccolo might be a little bit too small. So yeah, maybe something in between, might be a good size for a new Figuarts Dragon Ball Z Piccolo 2.0. So I love the details on this figure, all those sculpted details on his arms. They painted his so the details and the paintwork are very nicely done. Love all the sculpted details on Piccolo's arms. Look at that. Just really, really well done. The paintwork is sharp, it's clean, no smudges. You even get the painted fingernails there, which looks fantastic. His gi, his uniform looks great, all the wrinkles. Looking at his feet, very nicely sculpted feet there. You can even see all the details in his ankles. They're all nicely painted as well. His kanji symbol on his chest is very clean, very sharp. Speaking of which, speaking of his chest, I was kind of worried before getting this guy. You can see here his chest is the way it's cut, or the way it's split in half. It's not that traditional, straight line. It does follow that circular pattern of his chest right there, and it does make for kind of a flap, if that makes any sense. So I was thinking before getting this guy, when I first saw the initial promotional pictures, that if they made the upper chest out of a hard plastic, it's going to cause some stretch marks there, it's going to scratch up the bottom torso. But no, they made the upper chest from a softer plastic. Yeah, no scratches. I mean, I wouldn't leave Piccolo in that position for a long time. It might, stretch it out, and I'm sure it will go back in place, but yeah, no problems whatsoever. Doesn't restrict the articulation. He actually does have some pretty decent ab crunch, so yeah, well done, Tamashii, well done. Look at those heads, guys. I just love all the expressions. Very impressive sculpts with lots of detail. The veins on his head, the teeth, the gums are all sculpted in. The paintwork actually in his mouth, and the eyes are crispy clean too. They didn't use a stark white, but it's actually a yellowy tinge, and you can see all the veins, the bloodshot in his eyes. Just really, really well printed, really expressive. Very nice touch right there. Really love the head sculpts. So King Piccolo comes with a bucket full of fun little accessories. Let's start with the hands. 2 fisted hands, 2 claw hands, 2 blast hands, pointy finger hand for his right hand, and a karate chop or stabby hand. And of course we do get 4 beautifully sculpted heads as well. And these antennae, they actually do come out. They are removable, so you can position them any way that you want. Oh, there goes one of his antennae. So yeah, just be careful not to lose them. But yeah, you can position them any way you want. You get a gritting teeth face there as well. The gums there, as I mentioned before, are painted in. All the veins on his head. Very, very well done. A kind of maniacal laugh. Bloodshot eyes. And of course, his I'm spitting out Piccolo 2.0 head as well. Look at that. Fantastic work there. And as I showed you earlier, you do get Piccolo's egg. It's pretty shiny actually, and it does have a peg hole there at the bottom to accommodate a Tamashii stand, so you can pop that on the stand and have it shooting out. And he does come with a slime stand as well, so you can pop the egg on there and have it displayed standing up like that. Pretty cool that they included it. He comes with his number 1 star Dragon Ball as well. A little bit hard to see, but the star is very cleanly marked there. Very cool. And last but not least, you do get the rice cooker. And the rice cooker does open up. If you guys aren't aware of why he has a little rice cooker, it's because Master Roshi and Tien tried to seal King Piccolo in the rice cooker using the Mafuba technique, which most of you will probably be aware of or have seen recently in the Goku Black arc or in Dragon Ball Super. So yeah, they did use that move on King Piccolo, or tried to use that move on King Piccolo in Dragon Ball as well. Alright, so looking at articulation, as I mentioned before, his antenna do move separately, so I guess you can include that as articulation. He moves his head up this much, head down that much, side to side swivel. He's got a bit of tilt, left and right, which is nice. Neck there is a separate joint. He has some butterfly joints there at his shoulders, which can bring his arms in. Very nice. Arms out 90 degrees, 360 at the shoulders. Upper bicep swivel. double jointed elbows. Actually, no, they're single jointed elbows. I was mistaken. They are single jointed elbows. It does look like, it did look like they were double jointed, but they are in fact single jointed. So he doesn't get past 90 degrees, unfortunately, which is a minor gripe. Swivels there at the wrist, and yeah, hinges as well. Looking at his chest, as I mentioned, he does have a free range of motion. That flap piece here doesn't hinder any of the articulation. It is made from a softer plastic, which won't give you any scuffs or any scratches there, which is great. He does crunch forward that much, but in doing so, he does have a bit of gappage there at the back. Just something to note. Crunches back that much. He does have waist swivel. Very good waist swivel there. Looking at his legs, Piccolo does kick out 90 degrees, and he has some pretty good articulation there at the legs, kicking to the side as well. Upper thigh cut, double jointed knees. He moves his foot up pretty far up, actually. Really well down. Again, you do get a little bit of gap there. You can kind of see the ball joint, but yeah, he does get a lot of articulation there. Very good ankle pivot, and he does have toe articulation as well. So I know some of you aren't huge Dragon Ball fans, but this really is an excellent figure. It has a ton of accessories, fantastic articulation for its size, and did I mention just how big this guy is? He provides a great base for what I think Tamashii might use for a Piccolo 2.0. Might not be as big as Demon King Piccolo, might be a little bit smaller, but nevertheless a fantastic base for what I think Tamashii might use for an upcoming Piccolo 2.0. Again, King Piccolo is a web exclusive, so he might be a little harder to get your hands on. If you're not a Dragon Ball fan, you might want to skip this one and wait for the eventual Piccolo 2.0, as I mentioned. But if you love the older characters, you can't miss this one, guys. He is such an iconic villain for the series, and just a very well executed, fun figure to have. So before I wrap things up, just a couple of announcements. Belts are back in stock if you missed out the first round, or if you are new, I am offering belts for the Goku Raised on Earth and Super Saiyan Blue Goku. Both of these figures have those belts on them right now. To order, just send me an email. I have the address in the description below. Animation accurate Super Saiyan Blue heads will also be ready in late November. I'll be offering both blue and yellow, maybe pink. I have received quite a few comments, some feedback from some of you on Instagram saying that you guys want the pink option as well. Haven't decided on what shade of yellow yet. Let me know if you guys have a preference. Deeper yellow like the Awakening Goku, or the lighter, almost white yellow like Goku appears when he's training for the Cell games. And that's it. As always, thank you so much for watching. You guys are the best. Have a great week, and I'll be seeing you all very soon. Yoroshiku.